pickings, but it's better when the picks are actually valuable.
It's just very niche. I feel like our LCK teams are still like, well, you need 280 carries to make it good. And I think it could go beyond that. It might just get banned.
Hey, there we go.
There it is. I mean, this is definitely the approach, I think, against Canyon specifically. And Showmaker, who has played a fantastic Tristana. So that's the Ivern gone. That's the Tristana gone.
Yeah, I really like this from T1 because D+ showed in the series against Honda, you need to respect this combo specifically. They looked incredible on it and setting off the first game of a best of 3 by taking away what your opponents dunked on, or dunked on their opponents with at the beginning of the week is definitely a good call, as it's going to be Nico and LeBlanc taken off the board here as well. Annie is most notably still open. Will be picked up by Faker here, and we'll see which angle D+ is going to take, as Lucianami is not a thing anymore.
Yeah, no, it's definitely lost a lot of its power with the recent change. Nami herself, I feel like, as well, has kind of fallen out because of that. We only used to see her with Draven sometimes, and of course, mostly Lucian. As Kai'Sa will be the eventual choice, definitely a strong one. It does kind of show your hand a little bit, you know, if you are going to pick this 80 carry this early on, but Kai'Sa is very strong, so I think it's fine in this current meta.
Going to be the Sejuani. Wouldn't be surprised to see a Viego come through for T1 here then. And a lot of teams have started to go more and more towards picking a full-on top side here. Renekton comes to mind, can pick that one up for Zeus, and then you have a really strong top side, a lot of lockdown, a lot of early skirmishing power. See if that is the angle, and it also means that D+ is kind of forced to then either get a pickup of a counter pick in mid, or go and try and get a support. And it is going to be the hover of Lee, who I think is in an okay spot, but not necessarily the best at the moment. It's just going to be the Viego instead. As, yep, that makes a ton of sense. Now D+ kind of forced to either let this Renekton and this Annie sit, or get at least one counter pick across the board.
Yeah, that is the question. Let's see what they do decide to go for here. Jax, another big top laner in the current meta, can play well into an assortment of things, including the Renekton. So that is going to be the choice here for Kana. Let's see where these bans do lie, as we do have 80 carry available still for T1 to pick, so they are going to take away the Xayah first.
And D+ have a couple of options. They can either ban away, say, the Nautilus, or they can pick it up on R4. My expectation is that T1 will be looking to go towards the Varus. We'll see what the actual pickup ends up being. I really like what D+ have so far, though, with the, as Atlas would say, the purple synergy that we see. But most notably, Jax Sejuani, really strong top 2v2, can actually match, I think, the Renekton and the Viego when executed well. And then additionally, both have set up for the Kai'Sa, as instead it's the Aphelios that is going to get denied here from Gumayusi. Weaker due to circumstance, but Gumayusi very adept at the champion, so not going to be given over this time around.
He's been hit on many different fronts, and mostly just in terms of items and runes. But yeah, he's still played from time to time, but he's not like the B1 powerhouse that he was, which I think is good.
Yeah.
For the health of the bottom lane, right?
Certainly.
And let's see what happens here. Alistair, okay, finally getting some respect. The cow in the bottom lane, and might denote that they do want to go into their Rel pick, which we did just see get countered in the last series. Jace.
Yeah, this would be for Showmaker. The Jace was a pick that even at MSI we saw a lot into the Annie. So Showmaker gonna bring that one back here. Also melee, and a great combination with the Sejuani as, okay, T1! We are all inning on the dive, and that is a... That's a goal for Samira Rel, a combo that has been there for the longest times, and Kai'Sa not going to be too happy about that one, and especially if you go for something like a Rakan.
Yeah, that lane is...
it's not fun.
Not good in the laning phase. but they may just go for it anyway. There is the recon pickup. And T1, they are going headfirst into a brick wall, although that brick wall is not, you know, the mortar hasn't really settled in just yet.
No,
you know? It's not there. Actually, the bricks aren't there either, actually. It's just a wall.
It's just the concept of a wall.
Yeah. You just stare at empty space and you're like, here lies a brick wall. You're like, that's very deep. Yeah, so T1 very aggressive with this kind of composition. You could kind of tell, especially with the Alistar, that the Rel was coming through, but the Samira Rel, the combo, making its way back onto the Rift with the recent Rel buffs.
And both of these compositions are extremely punishing when they generate a lead. I think T1's even more so, and they are somewhat more reliant. But I've seen way too many late game.
It's Korean Giga Chad!
Oh my god, he's here!
We found him! Oh my god! The real Korean Giga Chad. Yeah, see? We found him for you guys. You know, we've been looking for a while.
Everyone, yeah,
here he is.
You know what your job is.
Yeah, there's Peter's dad, and then there's, you know, the original as well.
Yeah.
So there you go. He will be leading the chant, of course. Jokes aside, he is a collaboratory content creator.
Yep.
with D+. So he will be leading the chant here for game number 1. And maybe the future games as well, not sure. But here's T1's comp, very headfirst into the Rift, which is kind of the way things go nowadays. Similar on this side, but definitely a lot more arm's length on the side of D+Kia. We'll see if they can play it out well against the aggression from T1 as we hop into the Rift for game number 1. All right. The chant has been led. And T1 against DK. This one, it really does feel like it could go either way. I don't know what to expect. I think a lot of people would still lean T1. There's still that faith that, okay, you know, they're fighting against really strong teams and losing. That's the thing. It's Gen.G and KT who are... They didn't... I mean, Gen.G came off of MSI, seemed like they have pretty much no hangover, and that's lucky for them. That's good. They've worked it out. And KT may be the strongest team right now in the league, but is T1 number 3? I think you could definitely make a strong case for that. I think if they dispatch of DK pretty easily tonight, then we would be absolutely convinced. Will it happen, though?
And even then, what is really remarkable to me is that it feels like I said, for ever since basically 2020 summer, we've had a pretty consistent, like, one team fixed, which was before it was Dom1, and then afterwards it was T1. Because even when T1 wasn't able, like last summer, to actually get the win, and it was Gen.G pulling ahead, they were still very clearly contesting for the best team. And I feel like right now, it just doesn't really feel like that is the case. So both these teams are going to be looking to really showcase a performance that gives us faith again that they can contest KT, that they can contest Gen.G as Guma. Not that many games, but still looking good here on the Samira. A pick that definitely is pretty binary in does it work or does it not.
Yeah, and you see the win rate of Kai'Sa over Samira. I think that Kai'Sa has been better in a lot of metas compared to Samira, so I think that's part of it. I think the other part is that, you know, Samira Rel, unless you're engaging, you're very short range. Rel is a melee support, right? The Kai'Sa has had weak lanes against longer range AD carries and enchanter supports, but if she gets a free lane, she's going to be in a really good spot. So that's going to be something to look at. As Canyon, he says, well, we want to get aggressive, but so do I. He's level 3, and he is wrapping around here, and will not see the Viego for now. Well, now he does.
Oner spots in, but there is topside prio here for Arcana that get the shove in as expected in the early levels of the Jax, so we'll be okay. And I think Canyon looking for some early aggression is really good. Like, these skirmishes to me are really going to set the tone and the pace of the game as...
Canyon's coming over. Faker in a little bit of trouble here. Taking a lot of damage. The flash knockback as Faker. Uh-oh, he's gotten too close to the sun. One auto does it, and Showmaker sets up A kill onto Faker in the mid lane with just a little bit of help from Ken.
Nicely done there by Showmaker. Good use of the phase rush. Gets behind him with the flash, knocks him back. And that is a wonderful... And this is exactly what I was saying, where I'm going to be looking for early ganks, looking for early skirmishes, because whichever team can get their top side ahead is going to have such a better time. Because as important as I think bot lane is, both Deft and Gumayusi are really not going to be able to play the game if their top side is behind, because they're going to rely on them for engage, as we might be having a follow-up gank here.
Yeah, I don't know if they have much of an idea, as here we go, coming in from behind. Guma is not going to get knocked up, and he has to flash the Rakan. So that's Samira down a flash using the projectile knockaway a bit late as well. So that's going to put this bottom lane in a great spot, even if they don't get that kill onto Samira.
And note as well, Showmaker just completely ignoring. Gets phase rush, able to stick right there with Faker, and then goes for the flash. And then at that point, Faker just taken down by the continuous orders. Canyon just ensuring that the actual kill can be picked up. And then immediately running towards bot lane and getting a flash out of Guma as well. And Guma, you know, navigated it nicely. They're able to get like the dash back, but then still had to flash as Kellen held his W. And it is early game looking good here for D+.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see that Canyon, he does have to sacrifice a bit with this. He does get one Rift Scuttler, but he's also very far behind on camps. Like, he is 4 camps down right now, as Oner has just basically been perma-farming. So we got an engage here, trying to get on top of Kellen. He's just going to dash away onto his support as a big gank in the mid lane, as they're finally getting on top of Showmaker. Again, flashless, able to hold on to that flash for quite a while, and they take him down.
And Zeus with a really good roam. One of the biggest differences that we saw between Keen and Zeus in the last match wasn't necessarily the laning phase, although Keen generally was able to get a lead, but the impact on the map, right? Keen's teleports and his plays were one of the big reasons why T1 looked completely helpless against KT. Zeus with the roam here, able to teleport his way back. Uses the early pressure of his Renekton to set up a kill as D+.
Yeah, Faker level 6 here. He's got Tibbers. That is just Kellen down as he is left out to dry in the river. And that will be a kill onto Guma. No flash, no problem. We'll pick up that money.
These early skirmishes are so important. And even though D+ started off well, we now have a kill on Guma and a kill on Faker. T1 going to be feeling a whole lot better here. And we'll have to see if D+ can find their way back. I think their ability to win skirmishes on the top half of the map is still going to really be there. Also, Deft, if he's able to join with a Killer Instinct, can create some leads. And here you see, like, even with the ward being there and Showmaker being aware, bone plating is still up, Zeus has Dominus, and the CC chain. Yeah. Just play safe mid. Like, what do you do against that? And that play is just good on T1. But this play, I think a mistake from D+, trying to contest here when there is not even a concept of cryo in mid. Doesn't work out, get engaged on, and immediately taken down.
Yeah. And this is the thing about Rel with the changes, is that she's got a ranged stun. Like, Kellen is just walking at the Rel, and there is a Annie with stun prepped right behind the Rel. So you're gonna die. You're level 4 Rakan. You're not tanky. Like, it just seems pretty straight up, but it does feel like a lot of people, you know, maybe underestimating the power of the Rel and what it can bring in. As we have definitely had enough time for people to kind of figure out what she does now and why she is strong, and she certainly is strong. Be able to set that one up.
We have Oner waiting in the wings here. But it doesn't look like a lot is going to happen as it just goes in. I mean, bullying Khan out of his lane is a good setup. The Herald Rider is spawning in about 5 seconds, and if T1 can pick that up early, put more gold into their carries, would be a good angle as Guma.
Oh, Guma gonna block that one, but he still doesn't have flash, so he will be taken out, but Kellen gets the kill. Kind of unfortunate, but at least they do punish the Samira in the bottom lane and get this Kai'Sa some more room. As meanwhile, up on the top side, Zeus is taking some great trades. Every single time Kana doesn't have cooldowns, he is going in and getting big chunks of Kana's health.
And we have D+ seemingly also being aware that can't allow this bot lane to just play the game Guma needs to be kept down if the Samira gets too far ahead, particularly with the short-range comp that D+ have outside of specifically Shock Blast. Playing into Samira is going to be kind of a nightmare, as we have another setup attempt here around Showmaker. But with Keria showing, I'm pretty sure that we're going to see Canyon hover, and Oner decides the better of it as well, just pieces out. But Zeus did force Kana's TP, so Kana is able to stay alive, but will be down as Guma.
Guma is not level 6. Passive coming in, Barel is here, and now the Rakan joins as they do not get the knock-up on Guma, as he's just able to dance around them like that. The Magnus Storm is here, and so is that S-rank as Guma's going to pick up the kill. Here comes Canyon, trying to shut them down on the bottom side. Might be able to get Keria, but look at Guma, goes in, picks up another kill, as he is pretty dead, though. Will he be able to execute? He did already get the value out of this one, as he's just trying to get the wave here. Just zoning him off the turret is Showmaker. Picks up the shutdown, 450 gold. It's pretty good for the Jace.
And means that the golds, for now, will remain even. A lot of money into the pocket of Showmaker, and it's continuous back and forth being traded here, as this is the previous gank on Guma. Very successful, even with him cancelling Canyon's ultimate. Still going to get engaged on. That'll be the end of it. And then here, Deft feels like, as he should, he has a lead, but look at how much damage he's tanking from these minions, right? So by the time that he goes in, he really needs to respect the damage that's available. And then a level 6 is hit, and the damage is more than enough here. Huge wave as well, so basically impossible to fight him. But then Canyon still going to be able to get himself in this situation.
Oh, big trade in the top side. Zeus still looking for those aggressive trades, but Kana's just going to shut him down. As I saw that Zeus picked up 2 items after that, 2 components, so it looks like he was just down on... yeah, not the trade to take. He's kind of just barely going to take that one. And now Oner doesn't maybe not know about the Sejuani that's behind him here.
Might not matter, though.
Yeah, maybe just a free kill for the Viego?
Could be the case.
Let's see how this works. Flash still available for Kana as he's going to hop to a ward. He does have the counter-strike. Flashes one, gets the stun, but the flash Q is enough as Oner will take him out and has the enhanced recall to get away.
Important for Oner to actually pick up the kill there with how much was invested as he goes Triforce Viego. You love to see it.
Cool.
Not something we see very often. Faker using the movement speed to keep himself alive there. And with Triforce done, with Gore Drinker done, T1 going to be looking to get themselves to 2 Drake lead here. And we do have Kentak still in the pool. But outside of that, a lot of good Drakes still available here.
Let's see how it's going to go. T1 really want to begin stacking these, and they should be able to get this for free with the bottom lane of DK just backing. Let's see what the soul is, as you were mentioning. And it will be Kentak. So...
well, think of all the... Tenacity is actually good, though, against D+. So, you know, that's nice.
Sure.
Oh,
it's just not as good as damage. Zeus in a lot of trouble here as the passive does come in. There is the ultimate Counter-Strike follow-up. Zeus, no flash.
No Dominus.
No Dominus. He is getting chipped away at. He is Silver Nectin, but he gets just bopped on the head as Kana going to take another kill. And Divine Sunders him in the face.
And Canyon has been so proactive here, setting up for his laners. And it means that D+ is still able to stay on gold parity. So we take another look at the play here that got Kana his solo bolo. And yeah, as you point out, Zeus is working with a lot of components not being available here. Sitting on a cookie as well.
Nice, he says.
And gets the kill. And then here, even with Zeus flashing, he's unable to like find a slice and dice angle. The permafrost still goes up. And as a result, easy setup here, and Dominus only a few seconds off, but D+ identify the timing, get the kill, pick up another lead there. It's really big because this Jax is always going to win side when it comes to the later stage of the game, but Renekton can really extend the period for which he's relevant in the 1v1 by getting leads and putting himself further and further ahead. Not going to be the case here this time around.
Yeah, absolutely. Kana's in a great spot. Let's take a look at some of the gold diffs that we do have. Showmaker got that shutdown. He just picked up his Duskblade. A very nice spike, especially if we do have an upcoming fight. Maybe on the second Rift Herald. We have seen a decent number of teams try to fight over that and just use it to try to take mid-game priority.
Guma also going for Duskblade Samira. If you haven't
Makes
seen
sense.
it yet, yeah, you're gonna be in for some fun.
Well,
if you are Samira or a T1 fan.
Yeah, or a Samira enjoyer.
If you're a D+ fan, then buckle up.
Yeah, it's one of those items that I feel like they had good intentions in mind. It doesn't feel fun to play into, but if you're playing with it, it feels fun. I don't know if that's good, but it's in the game.
That is a lot of League of Legends experiences.
100 to 0ing someone is it's very fun. It's really exciting. Getting 100 to 0, not so much. And let's see how this one goes. As Oner not able to take away a red. Bottom side, Showmaker working on a Manamune bounce. Deft in a decent spot, but the 3 kills on the side of Guma definitely going to feel good for him.
Yeah, we're going to need to see some decisive fights, though, from T1, and we see D+ in full position, ready to try and contest here. Take a look at what the Samira can do.
Yeah, this is a very decisive fight from both sides. They're trying to get in onto the Sejuani. That's not going to work. Canyon is getting very low, though. He has to get out of here, as they're not able to get on top of Samira. And that is going to be a huge amount of damage just thrown into Kana. The rest of DK just do not even engage. Deft having everything up, and that's going to be a win here for T1.
I think there you see the problem for D+. Their tank, not tanky enough just yet. And if Canyon can't catch the first engage, and it's not D+ that's on the engage, because let's be honest, with Rakan and Sejuani, the opportunity is definitely there. T1 is just going to kill whoever you target. It doesn't matter if it's Canyon, doesn't matter if it's Kana. They're going to go down, right? Between any CC plus the amount of upfront burst, all that T1 wants to do is start getting Samira online, start getting resets for Viego. And for D+, it's really tough, because I think you need to either be the one engaging, or you need to find a way to actually absorb the upfront engage and the burst, but
sitting here and taking the brunt of the combo.
Yeah, just doesn't really work. Like, Keria is effectively engaging on only a single person, right? And then Canyon immediately has to go out, and the rest of the team can't follow up because Deft and Showmaker can't walk up because there is a Samira that will ult on them and just straight up kill them.
Maybe
and they don't have front line.
Stopwatch wasn't in the game, they could have killed Faker, and then maybe it was a more even fight. But Stopwatch, a great item. Faker identifies that. He's able to use it.
He's aware?
He is, honestly, he's aware of it. And
he knows.
Honestly, a lot of our players are aware of it now. The Stopwatch purchase rate has gone up 65% in the last 3 years. I just made up those stats.
No, that's definitely accurate.
But yeah, it's definitely true.
You can verify it. It's Keria!
There it is, a huge Magnus Storm right onto that backline, a huge combo as they take out Showmaker. He cannot use any of his buttons, any of his gold, doesn't matter, he's just gone. And T1, they are pulling the trigger on anyone that they see. Just so happens that that one was the soft underbelly of the DK comp.
Not a whole lot of counterplay to that one, but D+ getting caught repeatedly off guard here. And it is the triple flash commitment. Actually, quadruple flash, because Keria flashed as well as Faker.
A little bit of an engage here. Kaisa able to potentially get some back as Deft gets the pick off. Faker is roaming through his own jungle, thinks he's safe, but he was not.
Still a favorable trade for D+, or for T1 rather, but I do like D+. These type of exit kills means that at the very least Deft is going to get closer to another item, that you're not falling too far behind in gold. And soul point for this soul isn't game over, right?
Yeah.
Giving over a Chemtech soul is not going to be the end of the world. If it was Infernal and you have the T1 comp, I'm like, nope, that's...
Yeah, then it would be GG.
That's the end of it.
Yeah.
That is not the case here.
And DK has ways to play out this game. Yes, they are behind, but it's only 700 gold. It is a bunch of Drakes on top of it. And yes, T1 is really able to press a ton of buttons like this and isolate one target and take them out very quickly, as we do have in live Kana experiencing that as well. A 2v1 this time around. Rift Herald at the same time is being thrown into the mid lane turret. And that is going to be a nice little lead here for T1, getting a couple of big picks. Might even be able to get this bottom tier 1 as well.
And now for the first time, we actually start to see T1 pull ahead in gold, and with a composition like this, that's always going to feel good, as it's just a teleport that is able to take down Kana. It's Zeus gets his Ruthless Predator, and then the CC chain with the damage from Faker is more than enough. The 1v1, sure, Kana's going to do great in, but if you involve an Annie as well, not so much the case.
Yeah. You saw that Q just sailing in slowly from Faker, as that was really what led to his demise. If the stun was not in range, then maybe Kana gets away, but it was not meant to be. And yeah, I mean, DK, they definitely have ways to play this out. They have really nice poke with Jace Kai'Sa, especially with the current Kai'Sa builds. They have enough AP within the Kai'Sa to actually be relevant. And they have a decent 1-3-1 as well. You put Showmaker in a side lane.
Yeah.
The Annie's not really going to be able to match that, outside of her Tibbers combo at least. And then Kana, as we all know, the Jax eventually is going to balloon out of control. But certainly T1 are taking a lot of paths towards making this game about their engage and about the 5v5 and trying to get big leads through it, and so far they've done a good job of that.
And I also think that T1, as we saw them against KT looked incredible, but T1 also didn't really look to be on the same page. With a composition like this, you have to be. Like everyone, as we saw there, the call is maybe even less important than just making sure that you hard commit on whichever play you end up making. And for T1, the Drakes are kind of so-so, as mentioned. I think if this is a situation where D+ is literally forced to fight from here on out on every single Drake because they can't give up Soul, I would feel a lot more secure about T1's ults. I think they're still very much in favor here because even a composition like this, they can struggle, right? When we look at the amount of burst that is there, as we get deeper and deeper into the game, it's going to be harder to actually get that off. Range is going to matter more and more. The 1-3-1 is mentioned. The fact that Jax is seemingly going to be unmatched in a side lane. Those are all big, but right now, I'd say for like the next 10, 15 minutes, that's not really going to be relevant, and that's more than enough time to, win 1 or 2 team fights, get a Soul, get a Baron, and end the game through that.
Well, it's definitely going to be the angle for T1. We'll see if they can pilot that correctly. As I was saying, the damage from the Kai'Sa as well as the Jace will be relevant, as long as they can hit it. Did hit Guma, but he's got a Vamp Scepter and he is Samira, so he should be just fine. But we'll see how that does line up when it does come to fighting before objectives, most importantly. Let's see if DK show any amount of priority on this Chemtech Soul. I would imagine that you don't want to give over a Soul for free, regardless of what Soul it is.
Might just try and trade Baron for it. As Guma, this was what I was going to talk about, actually does finish his Collector. Such a big power spike, right? Like, look at what T1 is across the board. Kampong Chainsword, done now here for Zeus. Guma actually getting his Collector as well. Faker finishing, the Rylai's. So many 2-item power spikes, and we do have it for Deft and Showmaker, but the rest of D+, not really able to keep up, courtesy of the gold lead.
What is the Kempung Chainsword for? Is that just for the 1v1 against the Jax with Divine Sunder?
I guess, yeah. Radiant Virtue. I don't love it. It might also be straight up just I want to finish an item
as soon as possible,
so we can win the upcoming fight. Yeah, could be the case. They also have Oner going Black Cleaver, but I don't really mind doubling up on Cleavers personally, as we do have D+, actually opting into the contest here. And do note, can Deft output damage, does have 2-item spike, should be a lot stronger here.
Focus coming in, but Faker wants to start this. He will catch Showmaker, but no follow-up here from T1 as Keria is stunned up by Canyon. Throws in his ultimate just to disengage, as now that is no Glacial Prison for this fight, but no Tibbers Flash for the side of T1.
And we do see Showmaker there. Overall, if they can slow this down, if they can lend the poke, I think D+ still have an angle here. Look at Kellen's engage as well.
I'm going to be looking for that, going to be looking at Keria as well. If he can find an angle, Kana is spotted on the, you're on top of a ward, there you go. Gonna hit it now as T1.
They need to go in.
Pressuring forward, but they're eating so much damage. Before the fight even begins, I mean, look at the Shock Blast, look at the W's here from Deft. Keria looking for the angle, does get onto the front line, but that is not the meaty underbelly of this composition as Keria goes down. The damage, we gotta look for Guma, he flashes in, he takes down Kellen and Deft in one fell swoop, and the resets are coming in here for Oner as well in the river. T1 breaks up the fight, and they take it down.
And Keria does end up giving his life, but the most important thing is he starts off the fight. And if T1 had waited a little bit longer, D+ was retaking control of that river. But instead, T1 get themselves the soul, get themselves the fight win. And Guma, even more gold into the pocket of this Samira.
Yeah, the difference in terms of the amount of work that Keria is getting done versus Kellen. I mean, the Rakan was the last pick for DK. It's just not really amounting to too much, and Keria has gotten significant engage after engage. Even just getting the flash out of the depth is good.
And even though Keria ends up going down, right, Kana and Canyon are unable to actually protect their backline. And the moment that Guma gets on top of anyone that is even remotely squishy, they're just going to get blown up in a split second.
Shield bow done.
Yeah, I like it
Level
as well.
13.
Low or late shield bow. Obviously, item got buffed on this patch. Don't want to pick that up early. Looking at you, Viper, with the scaling that it has. And in this position, though, gonna get a ton of value out of that as T1, as they should. Gonna continue looking.
Oh, and DK are trying to contest a red buff as they're gonna throw in an ult on the Keria, but the stun comes through. They're going all in on to Sejuani, but they could pick anyone at this point as the damage is there. T1 are rolling over DK at this point. They're gonna take out Kellen as well. And that should be Baron from here. Only 3 members of DK remain.
And now T1 making their way over towards the pit. Kana, he's getting something. It's not going to be too relevant, I think, to the gold lead or
Tier 1 tower.
It's a bounty, you know. You're getting a small win, but T1 right there continue to push the lead. Well, this is actually, you know, another bounty and an inner. You'll sign up for that. But Kana doesn't even have a second item yet.
Yeah.
That turret is not scared of him. Turret don't care.
He's ran out of a wave. Meanwhile, T1 going to take the Baron down. So now they have Chemtech Soul and the Baron. This is the exact outcome that you were talking about, Chronicler.
As the contestant to come through here with Kana not opting for the teleport. Did have it available at this point in time, I think. And to be fair, even if he teleports, I don't really think it changes anything. And you see T1 on the front foot. This composition looks either amazing or really rough, right? And in this game, we have a pretty good answer. And for D+, feels like when the early skirmishes didn't really go their way, that already was a rough sign, and Kana unable to really push his lead. Went from 2-1 to 2-4. And T1 Elder spawning in about 3 minutes, and with a 2-minute Baron buff, could be a very smooth setup for them.
Well, they're really overextending to kill a level 16 Renekton in the mid lane. DK desperate for anything at this point, and they are getting only stopwatches. And it's going to be a big price to pay for it, as that's going to be the end of this bottom lane, I think, as Deft is being chased down by Faker. The rest of the team just pushing mid and looking to end the game as Faker is just walking the Kaisa down the river and into the death chamber. Down he goes as the inhibitor getting taken out here. T1 not going to overstay their welcome, as actually maybe they will. The TP is coming in, and I guess he might as well at this point.
Yeah, no Deft available. Their carries are all alive. Zeus coming in with a fresh TP. T1 looking to go up 1-0 here.
And there it is, the Magnet Storm. So much still left over here on the side of T1. They will get that juicy front line on the side of DK this time as the S rank comes through, and T1 will roll over DK here in game number 1. Down will go the Nexus in 27.5 minutes. T1 are back here.